Hello, and welcome to the Get Lean and Eat Clean podcast. My name is Brian Grin. I'm a certified health coach, trainer, and author. And this podcast is for middle aged men and women looking to optimize their health and get their bodies back to what it once was 10 to 15 years ago. I will give you simple, actionable items to get long term sustainable results. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. All right, welcome to the Get Lean, Eat Clean podcast. My name is Brian Grin. I hope you had a great weekend and hopefully listen to my interview with Dr. Michael D. Young. He's had a few books now. He's been a surgeon. He was a surgeon in Chicago for the last 30 years. Great perspective on what's going on in our healthcare system, lack of nutrition training for doctors, the impact insurance and pharma companies are having on our system. So I really enjoyed meeting Dr. Young, and he's a local guy, so I loved getting him on. So definitely check out that interview. And before I get into my micro podcast today, I just wanted to thank you for listening to the Get Lean, Eat Clean podcast. I know I say it on every episode, but there's tons of podcasts out there, and I really appreciate your support. I've been doing this with no sponsors or nothing like that. I try to, bring on great guests and talk about topics that are relevant. If there's some topic that you want me to touch on, feel free to email me, brian@briangrin.com, and hopefully I'll be able to do that for you. And if there's a guest perhaps that you want me to get on, let me know as well. I'll try to bring some great guests here in the next new year. But yeah, I just wanted to say I'm very grateful and I appreciate you listening. And have a happy, healthy new year, along with happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate. Enjoy it with your family and friends. And yeah, it's getting to the end of the year now. It's crazy how time flies. So got to enjoy each moment. And with that being said, I'm going to touch on a topic that we've actually touched on before. And you hear a bunch, and it comes up as vegetable oils. I think this is like one of the things that if you can maybe try to eliminate a little bit from your eating, and a lot of times you don't even realize it's in your foods, right? Restaurants are cooking in them. Even quote unquote healthy foods are putting it in there. Now, don't get me wrong. If you have it from time to time, I think that's completely fine. I think when it really gets dangerous is, heating vegetable oils and they become oxidized and rancid and cause inflammation. So I figured today I just sort of, I don't know, give you a brief history of how they sort of came about. What were some of the influences that brought on vegetable oils? Because you can make a reference or make sort of come to a conclusion that they could be linked to almost every chronic disease out there: cancer, obesity, Alzheimer's, diabetes. I mean, you name it. Vegetable oils have gone on this increase of like 1,000 times since the 1900s. And so they're hidden in almost everything. Like I said, you don't even know they're in there, which I think makes it even, worse. It's like you can tell when certain ingredients are just overdone and things, but you don't really taste vegetable oils. So the thing also to keep in mind is vegetable oils, there's not even vegetables at all in them. In the early 1900s, Procter and Gamble came up with the idea to use cotton seeds, which is a toxic waste product, and they turned them into cooking oil. Doesn't sound so appetizing. It was originally used for candles and soap, and they were later discovered that they can be used and turned into oil, into like a solid that resembled animal fats. Because back in the day, even like fast food chains used to cook in animal fats, but they got rid of that with the birth of Crisco back in the 1900s. So, so vegetable oils, just so you know, are actually made from seeds, not vegetables. So they should probably change the name. Some of the common ones that you see are corn, soybean, sunflower, canola. If you pretty much buy any type of brand, there's a recent like healthy chip that my wife wanted to try, and you look on the back. I mean, the second or third ingredient is canola oil or sunflower oil. So they are everywhere. Again, the doses and the poison. I think if you have them from time to time, especially if they're not being cooked at high temperatures, I don't think that's the end of the world. But I think that if you can try to bring that consumption down, because what's really been happening is it's been on the rise. um, and one of the another reasons vegetable oils was on the rise was a gentleman by the name of Ansel Keys. I would just say came up with some let's say false studies, um, and published and he was on the cover of like Time magazine, pretty much showing that vegetable oils, excuse me, that saturated fats cause the crisis of heart disease. And I'll put a link in the show notes for the sort of the whole story behind Ansel Keys. But the bottom line is it led to this rise in vegetable oils and efforts by Procter and Gamble with the creation of Crisco. And from there, it just sort of has gone skyrocketed, because Crisco pretty much marketed, Procter and Gamble marketed Crisco for everything: frying, baking, cooking, saying it was the most versatile butter, which it was not butter, obviously. So this rise in consumption, I saw a stat where vegetable oils consumption has gone from 11 pounds per person per year up to 59 from the 1900s to like 2000. So it was this rise in this rise in vegetable oils and this sort of downward trend of butter and lard, which is the healthy fats you want to cook in. And you can blame, you can put some blame on Ansel Keys and a lot of these companies, that sort of disguise the fact that vegetable oils are healthy, which they're not. And we're seeing this massive rise in heart disease, and chronic diseases, and it was being blamed originally by butter and natural fats. And so I'm here to tell you that the blame is not on that. Okay, you should be implementing natural fats into your diet. You don't have to put a stick of butter in your coffee, but you should be cooking in healthy oils: extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil. I cook a lot in ghee. If you've never tried ghee, it's really good. It's similar. It has a similar profile as to butter. It can just withstand a little bit more heat than butter can. Butter you want to cook in, but not at too high heats. I'll put a chart in the show notes showing sort of some good oils to cook in, or good fats to cook in, and ones that can stand high heats, and those are saturated fats. So the ones that aren't great at standing high heats, those are the polyunsaturated fats. And canola oil is high in poly and mono. So you want to be careful with that. Butter is almost all saturated fat. So the problem is when polyunsaturated fat is heated and broken down and oxidized, you get these toxic byproducts. And so this is what you got to be aware of. For example, these toxic byproducts, one's called acrolein, and acrolein is a toxic that's found in cigarette smoke and could cause lung disease. And there's a lot of other ones, but these byproducts are highly reactive, and they can lead to inflammation in the body. What also has happened is, other than these toxic byproducts from the vegetable oils, is the rise in like omega-6s and the decrease in omega-3s. And vegetable oils like canola are predominantly omega-6 fatty acids, such as what's called linoleic acid. So the linoleic acid content in human fat has tripled from 1960 to 1986. It's gone from 6% to 18%. So that's when it's an issue. You're going to have omega-6s. It's not like you want to totally avoid them, but essentially that just shifts you into this pro-inflammatory state. I mean, it's tripled since the 1960s, so not so good. And omega-3s have probably gone more on the down. So you've got this, omega-6s have gone up, omega-3s have gone down, and this is putting you into a pro-inflammatory state. So, there's been links to vegetable oils, to Alzheimer's, to cancer, insulin resistant, acne, heart disease, autism, dementia, heart disease, leaky gut, autoimmune. I'm not going to go through each of them now, but that's quite a long list. Again, there's some causation. I think there's still some studies and some research that needs to be out there regarding all of these. But I think the bottom line is you're seeing a trend where this high consumption of vegetable oils and this lowering of consumption of saturated fats and what's happening in our current environment with obesity. And I think it's just something to keep an eye on. So that was the main thing I wanted to touch on today. I know it's sort of a dark and gloomy topic and we're getting to the new year. But I want to give you guys relevant information that perhaps you can make some changes in your diet. I would say the main thing is just keep an eye on the labels. You could look at a Italian dressing and you could see, like I was looking at one the other day, it said blend of vegetable oils is the second ingredient in the Italian dressing. And you think this is like, and it's, marketed as a healthy dressing. You can look at like even like this, all the cereals, Honey Nut Cheerios, which is supposed to be like a heart healthy cereal. And you got, I think it was like the fourth ingredient. Well, the second ingredient was sugar. Okay. And then like the fifth or sixth ingredient was canola oil or a mix of vegetable oils. So just read some labels, take a look out for those labels, and then maybe try to cook for yourself as much as you can because all the restaurants are using them. So that's sort of what I wanted to talk about today. Be careful. It's being marketed as heart healthy and it's not. So I just want you to be aware of this. And if you have any questions regarding this, you can email me, brian@briangrin.com, and I will talk to you in the new year. I'm going to be taking a bit of a break. We do have some interviews coming up. I got some great interviews coming up at the end of the year on the next 2 Fridays. But I will talk to you in the new year. And I just want to wish everyone a happy, healthy new year. Enjoy the holidays with family and friends. And let's make 2023 a productive, great, healthy year. And I look forward to talking to you then. Thanks again for listening to the show and have a great day. Thanks for listening to the Get Lean, Eat Clean podcast. I understand there are millions of other podcasts out there and you've chosen to listen to mine, and I appreciate that. Check out the show notes at briangrin.com for everything that was mentioned in this episode. Feel free to subscribe to the podcast and share it with a friend or family member that's looking to get their body back to what it once was. Thanks again and have a great day.